This is the Ranger. I'm here interviewing John Ike Walton, formerly of the 13th floor elevators, and he is going to speak.
Okay. I first met Stacy, the guitar player for the elevators, at a drive-in restaurant. I was sitting on the back of a pickup truck playing my 5-string banjo, and he came up with his guitar and we jammed. And then the next day he took me out to meet his parents at his ranch. Then we decided we were going to go to Port Aransas and check out the beach, so we drove down there and we saw the dunes where we later played for the summer down there at the dunes. Then we went to Austin and met Roky and Tommy, and then we got with them. Roky had a band called the Spades at the time, and he dropped the Spades and used us as his band because he liked the way we played.
John Ike, what kind of equipment was Stacy playing with at the time?
Stacy had I believe he had a Rickenbacker, and then later on he got a 330. But he had a Rickenbacker, I believe, and a Gemini 2 Ampeg amp. Oh yeah, I left out the part about Benny Thurman. We met him in Austin at a drive-in restaurant too, and he wanted to go to the coast with us. So we all went down to the coast, and we got Max Rangy, a Kerrville boy who we played with sometime, and then we went to the dunes and we played down there all summer. And then we got back to Austin and
You met Stacy in Austin?
No, I met Stacy in Kerrville.
Okay. Benny Thurman was in Austin.
That's right.
We
picked up Benny. He was ready to go. He was looking for adventure.
Uh-huh.
And he just said, wherever you. He was a violin player, and we were playing our guitars and banjos, and he brought his violin, and we formed the band right then. And then we went to Austin, and then we went to Port Aransas, and then we played down there all summer, and then we came up to Austin. And
this was as the Lingsman. You played.
Right, we were the Lingsman.
As the Lingsman.
That was Max Rangy on vocals, Stacy on guitar, I was on drums, Benny was on bass. And we played down there all summer, had a blast. And we went up to...
Where would you play there? What club?
It was called the Dunes. We only played one club, and it was right there by the beach, by the pier.
Uh-huh.
And we played there. We called ourselves the Lingsman.
What would you get a night for playing there?
We got $25 a night per man.
Okay. Back then that was okay.
Yeah.
No.
Well, we were ready to, we were thankful to just not to have to get day jobs. We could support ourselves. They gave us a motel. They gave us half price on our food. I mean, they gave us, we had a couple of cottages there in Port Aransas. Then Roky had a record out at the time when we met him. And we recut it for international artists down at Andrus Studios in Houston. And then we cut some other stuff too, which appeared on the non-live album. And that was our first session at Andrus. Then
What was that single, John Ike? That was
it was "You're Gonna Miss Me," but with the Spades. It was, and on the
Right.
backside was "We Sell Soul."
okay. That was the first song Roky
That
ever
was the
wrote.
first song he ever recorded. And
Right.
I can't think of the name of his manager at the time, but he bowed out of the picture and let us go with international artists.
Okay.
Without taking, I mean, he just let us go.
How did the rest of the Spades feel about letting Roky go?
I don't know.
Was there a fight to get him? Or,
I think after they heard us play, they understood why.
Uh-huh.
Because Roky was the only guitar player
Uh-huh.
in the band, and Roky did a fine job with the Spades. They were very entertaining.
Oh, he was their lead
He played lead guitar, harmonica, and vocals
for the Spades.
for the Spades. That was Roky's band. He put it together. John Kearney, real fine person, was the drummer there, and they all just said, you guys play better than we do, so go ahead and take Roky. So we took him.
That's good.
They just bowed out.
They could see that it was meant to be.
I think so.
Yeah. And Roky was eager to join as a Lingsman, or
No.
you had agreed to reform into an entirely new band then, at that
Yes,
point.
it was the Lingsman without Max and with Roky.
Okay, so you dismissed your lead guitarist. No,
No, Stacy was our lead guitarist.
Stacy was your lead guitarist. Okay.
And with the Lingsman, there were 4 of us.
All right. So you didn't dismiss any Lingsman. You just brought on Roky.
Right. And then when You're Gonna Miss Me hit, and they wanted us to go to California, we left Benny behind because Benny was a violinist. He was not a bass player. He was not a good bass player. He was adequate, but we wanted somebody super, so we got Ronnie, who had been playing bass for several years.
And Benny was a violinist.
Benny is an incredible violinist.
He's an excellent musician, just not
not studio, but symphony quality.
Right.
He could actually play in the symphony if he wanted to. He
read
could read music and play the violin, and then he could also play fiddle.
But bass wasn't his cup of tea.
Bass was not his instrument. He grabbed it because we needed a bass player in this rock and roll band down at the coast, but he wasn't happy with it, and we weren't happy with it. You know, I mean, when you're dealing with trying to make a future for yourself in music, you got to use the best people you can possibly get together. You got to be cold. You know, sometimes if somebody just is dragging their feet and making a band, you know, there's one in every band.
Who had to break the news to Benny?
Stacy and I told Benny, and it was very good. I mean, he took it real well, because he was in Austin, and he had his girlfriend, and he had his bass and amp to play with some groups there in Austin if he wanted to. I left him the bass and the amp. I don't want to leave him without a way to make a living, because he could, you know, he could be okay in a band if he, but see, his heart was not in bass playing. He thought fiddle and violin. That was the way his brain worked.
Right.
And he was playing lead licks on the bass, and he couldn't keep up, and it was muddy, and
no counter rhythms or anything.
he just wasn't a bass player.
Right.
He was Benny the violinist. He went on to get with a group which got very famous around Austin called Plum Nelly. And they did bluegrass and country and western, and they were fantastic. They had a terrific following.
Exactly what did Benny Thurman record on the recordings?
Okay, he was on You're Gonna Miss Me, and Before You Accuse Me on the non-live album. Tried to Hide. No, I don't know what I'm Tried to Hide. And you got to take. It's a little bit unclear. I believe You Got to Take That Girl was Benny. I'm not real sure on what Benny was on this album, because I can't remember that far back real clearly.
He was on part of the non-live album.
He was on our first recording session,
which was before Psychedelic Sounds, or
right. It was before
that.
We cut that after we came back from California. This was done in Texas. It was our first thing, and we cut You're Gonna Miss Me. You're Gonna Miss Me was a hit, so we went to California.
Okay, that was your big break then.
Yeah, we were doing good in California. We should have never left. Columbia Records wanted us, Capitol Records wanted us, and I thought, well, we already signed with these people. You know, it's just, you know, we can't go with another company. We were just kids, you know. If we had a manager.
Who was your manager at the time?
Nobody. I was. I handled the bookings.
You were the businessman of the group then.
Yeah, pretty much. It was pretty much cut and dried. We played the Avalon Ballroom whenever Chet Helms wanted us to play there, which was quite often. So, and we did do a little traveling down the coast. And
so before you left, there was a question of getting another bass player.
Yes, just before, when they said we're going to California, I thought at that time when I got with Stacy, I said, Stacy, we got to get Ronnie.
Now, where have you known Ronnie before?
From Kerrville. Ronnie's a Kerrville boy.
You knew him. He was a local
Kerrville. We've played with Ronnie before in groups around Kerrville, just jamming around.
Right.
We were all pretty new to music. We hadn't been playing real long at this point.
You considered Ronnie a good bass player and wanted him in the band then?
Yes, that's why we
who was he
got
playing
Ronnie
with at the time?
I don't think Ronnie was playing with anybody at the time.
He was a free agent?
I think so.
So,
he was anxious to go.
So was
Ronnie
Ronnie
to get out of Kerrville?
Ronnie was approached before or after Benny was dismissed?
Ronnie was approached before.
And he agreed. And then you dismissed
when Ronnie said he'd go to California with us, and we broke it to Benny.
Okay, so Ronnie Leatherman enters the picture, agrees to go to California.
That's true.
And this is before you had signed on with International Artists by
yes,
now?
Yes, we signed with International Artists. See, our first manager, his name was Jim Stollerow. He got us with Gordon Bynum, and we signed a recording contract with Gordon Bynum. Then we went into the studio, Andrus' studio, and we laid down these tunes. And then we got with International Artists. We signed with them, and they took You're Gonna Miss Me and made a hit out of it. Leland Rogers did. They did a pretty darn good job for a small independent label there to get, because we were #1 in almost every town in California. And it was Leland Rogers that did the
He was just
promotion.
starting
Yeah, but Leland was a promoter. He never mentioned any other groups that he promoted, but
that. How far along was International Artists at the time? Had they recorded Red Crayola and all them by now?
no, we were their first band.
You were their first band?
We were their first band.
Okay.
As you'll notice on our LP, it says I #1 on the psychedelic sounds down at the bottom.
Okay. So the non-live album was recorded first.
That's true. Now not all of it. I've Got Levitation came off of Easter Everywhere. She Lives in a Time of Her Own came off of Easter Everywhere. All the rest of them, I believe Benny was on bass. I'm not absolutely positive of exactly which ones he was on bass on.
Uh-huh.
But he did that first session with us down there. And that scream, and You're Gonna Miss Me, is him. That little, kind of a little, ow! That's in there. That's Benny,
yeah.
Benny screaming.
There's several live albums. When y'all get going, someone kind of tends to start screaming. Was that Benny?
No. Benny just did that one little scream on You're Gonna Miss Me, and because he was excited and he wanted to throw a little scream in there. Roky was screaming and made Benny want to scream, so he screamed.
Well, let's move along to that first album. Would you explain that it's not really a live album and what happened? The non-live album.
Oh, the first session.
The sessions, yeah.
First sessions that went down.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we were in there and they just said, do your show. We're getting levels, so we did our show. We
This
played
was Houston?
Yeah, this was in Houston. Leland said, just play. And so we started, we played songs. We didn't just test things, we just started playing. And all this stuff was going in the can. They released it later after Easter Everywhere when Roky went to the halfway house. They were keeping it back just in case of emergencies. And they put that stuff in the can. If we'd have known that, we would have played it better.
I don't
we
know.
had no idea that it was going in the can. They said, okay, do another one. And they just kept doing this, and that's how they wound up with all these tunes.
And then they threw a few from Easter Everywhere on
And
that
a
and
few-
made an album out of it later.
It's a pretty good album,
It's
really.
a great album, yeah.
I like Take That Girl especially. I mean,
Mhm.
that's just something else.
Tried to Hide is so good, too.
Tried to Hide it.
Yeah.
Good.
So that album turned out to be kind of a compilation.
That wasn't really a planned album. We didn't just go in there and really work at it. We just started playing and they turned the mics on.
Right.
It was,
Now, whose idea was it to go to California?
well, we got busted. Everybody got off. The reason we went to California was this fella from Sacramento got a hold of Leland and said, I want to book the Elevators on a tour. And so we toured California there for a little while, and then we came back to San Francisco and settled in at the Avalon Ballroom. That's where all those posters are from and everything. See,
Right.
there's some posters that are missing. Let me show you this poster right here. This one's worth $1,000. This is not the poster, but this is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's
It's
an
a picture.
original of that is going for $1,000.
John Ike handed me a picture of a poster with Grace Slick.
That is her, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Grace Slick, but up above it says the 13th floor elevators.
And then it says the Great Society, and I believe they were calling themselves the Great Society. They were also calling themselves,
That's before the Jefferson Airplane.
I think it was pre-Jefferson
Was the
Airport.
Great Society.
Yeah.
Yeah. So y'all were built above the Great Society at this point.
Oh yes, we
Yeah.
were built above everybody but the Electric Flag.
And Quicksilver, too. And
Yeah,
one other
and
poster.
Moby Grape and
Moby
Janis
Grape,
Joplin,
all those guys.
Sir Douglas. Well, we were real popular at the Avalon.
Mm-hmm.
We had a good following at the Avalon. In fact, there's a couple of posters, one with the Charlatans, which we did not play and did not know anything about, that they went ahead and used our names. The Electric Flag concert, we were out in the audience and we were on the poster as 13th floor elevators with the Electric Flag. And and the Fugs were supposed to be there, but they didn't show.
Yeah.
Or it was a different show. I don't know. I've seen the poster, but I don't remember the gig. But I do remember seeing the Electric Flag, and we never did play a show with the Electric Flag. We were out in the audience. We saw them one time, Mike Bloomfield and Buddy Miles, and they were terrific, man. They came in there and they just devastated everybody. They had horns, and they had worked it up, They did their show.
They had an
It was
act.
unbelievable.
Yeah. What other towns did you tour besides Avalon?
Okay, we went down to Modesto, and Oh, here's what happened in California. We were playing the Avalon there. They started booking other acts. I know what it was. I know why we left California. We were doing fine playing at the Avalon. We were making $100 a man, 2, sometimes 3 nights a week. One time Roky came out on stage and forgot all the words, though. That was embarrassing.
Well, what happened, John Ike?
We jammed.
You jammed? Uh-huh.
Roky came out and he just drew a blank that night. He just
kind of
blanked out.
Blanked out.
He just blanked out, and
Yeah.
we jammed for 45 minutes, and we didn't play the second set. He might have been a little bit stoned.
A little high on something, yeah.
A little too stoned.
So you jammed, and then Quicksilver came on. You said
Yeah,
just
we
bring
left.
them on
We
early.
just left. We
Yeah.
realized at that point
Nothing was going to happen.
that it wasn't going to happen in the
Yeah.
next set either.
Uh-huh.
So we just packed up and got out of there. And that was the same time that they wanted us to come record our album. So we hit the road, packed up and hit the road. Oh, all of our instruments got stolen out there, except for our amplifiers. All of our guitars and banjos and fiddles and things like that
Where?
we had got stolen in California. Our band boy, Cecil Morris, went and parked the van in the Tenderloin district over there by the Fillmore Auditorium in a black parking lot.
Uh-huh.
And boy, they just took everything of value. A Robert's tape recorder. I had a 5-string banjo. They took Stacy's guitar. They took Ronnie's bass. They took everything that they could. It wasn't nailed. Now they didn't take our Standell amps, which was good because it was less stuff that we had to replace, and we didn't have that kind of money.
Those were pretty big at the time. Those Standells.
215s in each one. They were big and heavy, and they didn't want
They
to.
couldn't walk off with those.
They couldn't see. They just took a coat hanger and opened the vent window and got in that van
Real quick, took everything.
real quick. And it was, well, Cecil went to a concert and left all the equipment in the van, and he said, "Well, John Ike, I locked it up." I said, "Man,
That's not good enough.
man, you locked it."
What about this? Stacy putting the PA system up.
Oh,
up
yeah,
on
Roky.
the-
Tommy did that.
Tommy Hall.
Tommy had a Rambler station wagon, and he couldn't get the speakers. We'd already gone, and he couldn't get the speakers in the back of his station wagon because he had clothes and everything back
Uh-huh.
there. So he puts them up on the roof, and he ties a tarp on them. Well, the tarp blows off on the way to California. They don't know it. The tarp just blows off, and then a rainstorm comes in and ruins the speakers, and we got to the gig, and we had no PA.
Oh, no.
And we were playing out on a slab out in it's like a tennis court kind of situation. And we even had to have an extension cord to get the power up to the bandstand, but we had that stuff. We had no PA. There was no vocals, nothing. We just jammed around, and then everybody danced around, and then the kids didn't care. California kids, they were happy regardless of what was going on. They didn't give us any trouble over it. Like you get in some places, and you don't play very well, or you don't play at all with vocals, they can get pretty irate. But those California people, they were all right.
You didn't play the Fillmore without a PA, did you?
That we bought some speakers right after that.
Oh, okay.
That next day, we bought speakers.
Yeah.
And we had a manager there. His name was Steve Tolan. Got with us, and he called me up and said, "I want to book some." This was when we were in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
We'd gotten back off of that tour. He started booking us, and he got us on the Dick Clark show, American Bandstand and Where the Action Is. And he, at that time,
right.
he left us as a manager and went to work for Dick Clark, which I don't blame him. I mean, I wouldn't leave. I'd leave a band to go to work for Dick Clark as his PR man.
Sure. Yes.
And that's what he did.
Well, he had no idea what the elevators were all about, probably.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't one of us as far as,
But he got
smoking
you on-
marijuana. He wasn't in.
He got you on the show, though, on the Dick Clark show.
Yeah, he called me and said that Dick Clark located him, and
Wanted you
he
all.
went down there with us. He wrote me a thank you letter. He said, "John, I appreciate y'all letting me go down there to the Dick Clark show with you because I got a job down there as his PR man." And I said, "Well, that's great, man. We're without a manager." So we came back to Texas.
How was it with Dick Clark? Was he kind of a strange guy, or did y'all lip sync? In other words, because he has all their people kind of lip sync,
Yeah, it was a lip sync
It was
situation.
a lip sync. Okay. How'd y'all feel about that? Did y'all want to do it live, or was it?
Well, we
easier?
didn't have any instruments.
So it was. This was
we-
right after the theft of the instruments, right?
We didn't take. I think we took the guitars to Los Angeles to do the Dick Clark show.
Uh huh.
I didn't have any drums at the when I did American Bandstand. I didn't have any drums, but then when I did Where the Action Is, it seems like to me they gave me a set of drums, or they may have gotten mine flown down there or something. But on Where the Action Is, it worked out all right.
Very few people even remember that show. I have a few memories of it as a kid. It was often filmed along the shore, the coast, right?
We were in a gymnasium for American Bandstand, and then we were at Dick Clark's house by his swimming pool for Where the Action Is. And then Jack Ortman told me, he asked me, "Do you remember playing on a boat in San Francisco?" And I said, "Vaguely." But I can't really nail it. I can't nail it down for you. He said, "Well, we got a video of you guys playing on a boat in San Francisco." Jack Ortman.
I'd like to see that. Someone needs to get all these California videos together.
Doug Hanners has the American Bandstand one, and you showed me that one that you sent me.
Right.
It had the Where the Action Is. That was Where the Action Is.
Oh, that was the action.
That was Where the Action Is, and then the Dick Clark one, Doug Hanners has it.
Okay.
And then Jack Hartman has the one on a boat out in San Francisco.
Should get all those together on a single tape. It would be nice.
Yeah, that would be a good collector's item.
How did the rest of the band feel about California?
Well, we were running out of jobs and money in California, so the offer to come back to Texas looked pretty tempting. But when we got here, there weren't enough jobs to keep us here, so they did a little studio work. At that point, when we got back from California, we cut that first album.
Roky, remember?
After that, Roky was getting pretty spaced.
But when
so we left. Ronnie and I left the band.
Right, but
that was in Kerrville here, out at Robert Eggers Ranch. They were jamming out there, and Ronnie and I got together and we said, "Man, we're going to have to do something else, man, because this is just not working." Well, there were no places to play that paid enough money to even make it worthwhile to pack up and go down there and play, and no places in Kerrville. We came back to Kerrville, to Robert Eggers Ranch. After the album was cut, we came down to Kerrville. And then Tommy, and when we quit, they got Danny Galindo and Danny Thomas, and they were playing out at Robert's Ranch, and they got it all together, and they cut Easter Everywhere. I'm on a couple of cuts of Easter Everywhere, so is Ronnie. That's on She Lives and Levitation. The rest of it is Danny Thomas and Danny Thomas on drums, Danny Galindo on bass, and Stacy and Roky and Tommy.
Where did they find Danny and Tommy? I mean,
Stacy found them somewhere. He went to Austin, I think, or San Antonio, and just was riding around with some people, and they ended up jamming. He ended up jamming with Danny, and
okay.
So they were only without a bass player and a drummer for about 2 days. And I have to hand it to them. Easter Everywhere is a masterpiece. You know, it just wasn't my cup of tea to drop acid. I tried it a couple of times, but it just didn't agree with me. So
by then the rest of the band was pretty much into LSD then. Right?
Stacy and Tommy and Roky were into LSD. Ronnie and I weren't. And the legal problems. I mean, you know,
you were hounded by the police. You know, is that right?
It was always a tense situation because Tommy would always have some acid, and I was always, you know, that's why Ronnie and I quit. You know, there was just, we didn't want to get busted. I'd been busted once. I didn't want to get busted twice.
Right.
I learned the first time that you could go to prison for drugs. You know, so I just bowed out.
Wasn't all fun and games then.
No, that's no fun. You know, because they had made acid a felony a little while after it came out. You know, first out in California, everybody was doing it.
It was legal.
Yeah, nobody. It wasn't even illegal, and then when they made it illegal, it was a felony. So I bowed out on that stuff. I never enjoyed acid. I think we got some bad stuff. I think it had some strychnine. It was a powder, and Tommy gave me a handful of powder, and I took it, and man, I had a worse trip anybody could imagine. And I just didn't want to take any more.
Who knows what was in that?
It was that California stuff that they traded weed for acid.
Yeah.
They would come. This guy came in from California.
So, when Roky forgot all his lyrics out there, you said when he came back to Texas, he suddenly remembered the lyrics.
Yeah.
Oh, his memory came back when.
That's
he got
right.
back
It came
to
back.
Texas.
It came. It was only gone for a couple of days. or maybe a week or so, and then the next gig we played, he was all right. It was a situation where he just had a blackout.
He just couldn't remember it.
And then the next gig after that, he was fine. And then we went to do the session for the first album in Dallas. He was great.
So they brought you in right off the road.
Right off the road, gave us some cheeseburgers and coffee and Cokes, and
Pointed you towards the studio.
stuck us in the studio and said, "Let's go." 3 o'clock in the morning, we've been on the road for 3 days.
No time to rest up or anything.
No time to mellow out or anything. The meter was running. We weren't pampered. We were not a pampered band.
No. And you weren't given large sums of money either.
No, I didn't. I got $375. I don't know what they gave Ronnie, but they'd give Tommy enough to where he could keep their apartment rented, food, stuff like that.
But let's go back to California. While you're in California, where'd y'all stay? You had an apartment?
Stacy and Tommy and Roky stayed in downtown San Francisco. Ronnie and Cecil and I stayed in San Pablo, which is across the bridge. No, I don't know if it was across the bridge. San Pablo. It was about 15 miles from San Francisco. And we got an apartment there, and we hung out there. And we played around San Francisco there. That was our headquarters. We played once at the Fillmore, and then we played the Avalon a lot.
Okay, how long did the stay in California last, do you think?
About 3 months.
What year was this?
I would say 65 or 66. Probably 65, because the Beatles, when did the Beatles come out? About 64?
64.
They came out in 64. I would say this would be late 65 that we were out there, maybe even early 65. I know the Beatles had just hit and had 2 or 3 hits, and then we got in on going to California shortly thereafter. We did The Word, and we worked The Word up in Austin, so I know that if that'll date it, that's about as close as I can come.
The Beatles song The Word?
The Word. Say the word and you'll be free.
Okay, then that's the...
Say the word.
That's the year Rubber Soul came out. It's on Rubber Soul. Came out in 66, because Beatles 65 had come out the year before.
The Word was
on Rubber Soul.
Rubber Soul. Okay, right. That's when it was.
It was 66.
That's when it was.
Right. You guys were there before the Summer of Love, and you described Grateful Dead was not even around then, right?
Well, they were forming their band, but they weren't playing gigs.
The Jerry Garcia was just getting together.
Yeah, they were just getting together, and we'd heard about this band called the Grateful Dead, and they asked us if we wanted to. They asked me if I wanted to go meet the Grateful Dead after I just got through rocking and rolling for 2 hours, and my ears were ringing, and my mind was blown. And they asked me if I wanted to go meet somebody. I said, no, thank you. I'm not going anywhere except home to bed.
Right.
If you've ever played a rock and roll gig, you know what I mean, man. You can be really tired after you get through. You just want to quit vibrating because you do so much of it in that 2 or 4 hours, however long you play.
Well, you guys used to come on high intensity, is that right?
We were fast rock and roll.
You came on like thunder.
We only had a couple of slow songs. Take That Girl and Splash.
Splash, that's right.
All the rest of them were pretty high energy songs.
High energy. You replaced the equipment by then?
Yeah, we replaced our equipment in California. We bought new stuff in California and came on back and did our album.
Okay.
With the new equipment, with the new guitars and everything. I can't remember. I think they may have sent us some money to get those instruments, or we bought them on time, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
And because the music store there was very anxious to sell those things at the time because they were just getting started with the Standell amps and stuff like that. Of course, Stacy had to buy a new 330 out there in California.
A Gibson?
Yeah, Gibson 330.
I bet that sounded good.
Stacy had a good rig. He used a twin reverb amp with 4 10-inch speakers and a 330 guitar, and he got a funky sound out of it. Then he liked echo. Tape. Do you remember those tape echo machines that Fender made that sit on your amp, and they had a big round wheel right here, and it was a tape
Echoplex.
No, it was
before Echoplex.
Before Echoplex. It was Fender.
A Fender deal before they came out with, but it would echo.
It was a tape echo.
Right. And he was playing with this at the time.
Yeah, he used that.
He used that on stage? Really? I've never heard him play that on a live album, no, on any of them.
No, he didn't use it in the studio.
It must have just been a couple of
we used the echo that they had in the studio.
Oh, that, yeah,
The built-in
right, they had it
radio.
built in, yeah. So who did you hang around with in California?
We
Or
just
y'all-
kept pretty much to ourselves because we didn't know anybody. We were out there and trying to rock and roll, and we didn't think much about money or our future and what we were going to retire on or anything like that. We just went around and played some gigs and then came back to Texas.
Stacy and Roky and Tommy were pretty carefree about the money, and they were just
Well, we didn't make a lot of money, but they were buying acid with it.
maybe doing a little too much of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they went a little overboard on that.
Now, how did y'all come back? In the same cars you went out there in?
Yeah, we had a station wagon, a '64 Pontiac Bonneville station wagon,
Uh-huh.
and we had a trailer. We played one gig in Modesto, and it was a real high stage, and the girls were trying to pull Roky off the stage. It freaked him out. They were grabbing his pants and pulling on him. He would have fell about 6 feet if they'd have pulled him off the stage. And then when we got through playing, about 4 or 5 of them, about 14-year-old girls, were coming back in the dressing room area back there, and they just stood there and looked at us. They didn't know what to do. They just stood there, you know. They didn't try to tear our clothes off or anything like that. They just stood there and looked at it. They were 14, we were 18.
Uh-huh.
We knew that didn't work.
Yeah, right.
So we got out of there.
Uh-huh.
That was the first and only experience we had with groupies.
So you didn't have groupies coming home with y'all all the time?
No. We didn't. We were too tired to be fooling around after a gig, man. You know, you rock and roll hard for 4 hours or even 2 hours, and then listen to another band for those other 2 hours. You're tired.
Oh, yeah.
I always tore my own drums down. No, wait a minute. That's right. Cecil did set my drums up. He did learn how to set my drums up for me there for a while.
Cecil was your roadie, right?
Cecil was our roadie and friend from Kerrville here that we've known for a long time.
John Ike, you tell me a little bit about how Tommy Hall came on the scene.
Okay, Tommy had heard that Bob Dylan was reading this book about the Gurdjieff Society,
Right.
and he was into that type of society. And he would read these books, and then he was reading all the time, and then he'd sit down and he'd write a psychedelic poem, and Roky would put it to music, and we'd go in the studio. We'd work it up at first in the house there, then we'd go to the studio and lay it down.
Now, is this where Tommy got this philosophy of doubt creates negative vibrations
Yes.
and reverberation?
He was constantly reading these books, and he was reading them with the idea in mind of making psychedelic lyrics.
Uh-huh.
Because psychedelics and this philosophy were going hand in hand at that time. People were turning on the psychedelics, and then they were getting into Eastern philosophies and Gurdjieff and things like this. And Tommy just made poems out of it, and Roky would set it to music.
His lyrics often flirt with such topics as reincarnation and higher states of consciousness. Well, I don't think you were on that cut, Leave Your Body Behind. But
No, I wasn't.
This is where he got these lyrics, or the ideas were from these books he was reading, metaphysical books.
Two of the books I remember are Gurdjieff, the Gurdjieff Society, Beelzebub's Tales to His Grandson was one of the books. And then he had O.D. Uspensky's In Search of the Miraculous.
Any books on yoga or?
No, he wasn't into yoga.
Okay. Some of that philosophy is surprisingly like a yogic philosophy. You know, leave your body behind.
Right.
Things like that.
Right.
Exactly when did Tommy come on the scene? It's after the elevators were formed, right? After the.
No, Tommy got Roky to come over to his house and play with us, and then we played. And then we sat down by the table there and said, we got to have a name for this band. I said, how about the Elevators? And Clementine liked that name and said, oh, well, we've already thought of that, but they hadn't thought of it because we went directly from the band room to the table in the kitchen, and I thought of it. And then she thought of the 13th floor part that night, and then we put the 13th floor Elevators together as a name, or she did, and That's how we got it.
What I'm trying to say is when I'm trying to get a time frame when you got Roky from the Spades and you quit being the Linksman. So this was before you had decided on the name. This was like all in the same time.
All in one night.
All in one night. You fired.
Roky came over, we played, and he said, "Wow, I want you guys to be in my band." And I said, "Well, we want you to be our lead singer," and everything went down that night. The name was thought of the next day.
And so Tommy was there on the scene.
Tommy was right there. It was at Tommy's house where we got together.
At Tommy's house.
See, Tommy had seen Roky, and then we all went over to Tommy's house to smoke some joints, and we set up our equipment and started playing.
Was that here in Kerrville?
In Austin.
In Austin. So this is after you'd come back from Birhday?
Yeah, and we left Port Aransas and came up to Austin.
When did Mr. Hall get the idea for this jug?
That same night.
The same night? Was
that
it?
We did it all.
He had never done it before, or
no? He just.
He decided it would be cool, or?
Yeah, he wanted to try it. He tried it and he liked it, and
whose idea was the jug?
It was Tommy's.
Tommy's idea.
Tommy's idea.
And so what did he do? Just pull out a jug and say, "I'm gonna see how it fits in with you guys," or?
Yeah, he goofed around with a jug in some jug bands there in Austin, and he wanted to play jug, but he didn't really, jug is not played. Your hillbilly jug playing is not anything at all like what Tommy did. Tommy didn't really play a jug. He just made sounds into the microphone like, and the jug just added reverberation to that, and he was always saying. That's about all it was to the instrument. I wasn't really very impressed by it.
So the microphone.
But a lot of people like it, so I don't know.
He just held the mic next to the jug.
Right, he held the mic right by the jug hole and we did into the jug hole, and then the mic picked up the reverberation.
I see. And then later on, this became like a trademark.
Right.
Leland tried to kind of make it a gimmick for the band. A sound, totally unique sound, I must say.
Yeah, I think there were some times when he would too high, because we weren't a gimmick band. We were a good rock and roll band, and we could have done it with or without the jug. The jug did not make the 13th floor elevators. Rocky's voice and everybody else being able to play good rock and roll is what made that band. I mean, the jug is just.
It was like icing on the cake at that time.
So Tommy was the one that put the elevators and 13 together?
No, his wife did.
His wife?
His wife, I stimulated her by saying elevators. Why don't we call ourselves the Elevators? She said, "Oh, we've already thought of that." And I knew that she hadn't already thought of it. She thought that was a good name and she liked it. She wanted to take credit for it herself. And anyway, that night she thought of 13th floor elevators. Tommy had nothing to do with the name. He does claim that he thought up the name, but he didn't. I thought of the elevators part. His wife thought of the 13th floor part. That's how that came about.
And that night, Tommy became a member of the band. Roky became a member of the band. And the 13th floor elevators became the 13th floor elevators.
That's right. That's true.
Can you remember your first gig?
Yeah, we played the Jade Room. Roky was playing there with the Spades, and then we continued to play there. Then we also played a club called the New Orleans Club, and we went back and forth between the Jade Room on Wednesdays and Thursdays and the New Orleans clubs on Friday and Saturday. And we had a pretty good following, and we were making a little money. Then Tommy got this guy named Jim Stollerow to manage us, and he got us with Gordon Bynum, and then he got us with International Artists. And I don't think International Artists treated us right, but there was nobody else in Texas doing anything, and we didn't even think we had a future, except for just to play a gig here and there and have some fun playing some music. We never thought we could have albums that sold.
So you thought the band was just a hobby at that time?
Yeah, we were just kind of fooling around.
And never really thought you'd go big time?
We never thought we'd have a hit record.
Never
even dreamed of it. When they said You're Gonna Miss Me was number 31 in the nation and number 1 in Sacramento, California, and they said, and this guy called up and wanted the band, we were gone.
Yeah. Well, that was good news.
Yeah, it was.
So you'd be playing at the New Orleans club, and then you'd have the Wig down the street playing at the other.
Right. They played, let's see, let me think of the place that they played. They may have played some at the Jade Room.
They played the Jade Room quite often,
didn't
I think.
they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did play the Jade. That's right.
They have an album out with Jade from the Jade Room.
The Jade Room. Wig does?
Uh-huh.
Golly.
I have it.
I'd send you a copy.
Yeah, copy that off.
Uh-huh.
That was Rusty Weir.
Really?
Rusty Weir was the lead singer for the Wig.
I had no idea.
Yeah, the country Rusty Weir, the guy, real hokey country guy now,
Yeah.
with a heavy accent. You know,
Uh-huh.
he's country. Yeah, he was the lead singer singing Mustang Sally and things like that.
Right. They did some good cover material.
Yeah, he was their lead singer. Benny Rowe was on guitar.
But you can also tell they were influenced by the Elevators to a
Well,
small
not
extent.
so much, really. I mean,
No.
we just kind of evolved at the same time, playing
Yeah.
the same kind of cover songs, and you know, the British invasion hit, and they copied, and we copied, and that's how we got started.
Now, where was Fever Tree at this time?
Oh, they weren't.
They were Houston.
This was
They went national also, right?
the Fever Tree was. I think that was after we'd come back from California, and we played a gig in Houston with the Fever Tree at the Living Eye. And Stacy got arrested off stage there. We couldn't do our performance because they arrested him for possession of marijuana there, and he did 2 years in the joint.
During that Fever Tree concert.
Yeah, I think it was the Fever Tree.
Right. So he was arrested, and they
Before we
waited.
could even start our set, they waited till he got on stage, got plugged in, ready to go.
They waited till y'all were ready to go, and then came up and took it.
Came up and arrested him off stage.
Good old Houston police, huh?
Now, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to skip to another place
Okay.
called the Swingers A Go-Go in Austin, where they came and arrested Roky off stage.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
At Swingers.
Swingers A Go-Go.
Huh.
I don't know the full reason. I don't know the charges they had against him at the time, you know, but they went out to Swingers, and a lot of the people in the crowd were upset, and they jerked the distributor wires out of the cop cars, and they sent for reinforcements, and it took 8 squad cars to bring Roky in.
Is
The
that
crowd
a fact?
the crowd had already paid their money, and they wanted to hear some rock and roll, and here they weren't taking him off stage. They crowded around him. This is what I've heard.
Yeah.
I wasn't there,
Okay.
but it makes for a good story.
Right. And so they didn't like the idea of them taking Roky.
No, Roky
fact-
was there, and
In fact, it was like the beginnings of a small riot. I mean,
Yeah,
they attacked the
it
police car, and they were, you know,
yeah, they pulled the distributor wires off.
yeah.
And no, they were mad.
Uh-huh.
The crowd did not want Roky to go.
Uh-huh.
They paid their money. They'd gone to the trouble to get there. They paid their money. They wanted to rock and roll. And here they were taking Roky off. Okay, now. Okay, here we go. Now this is Rocky's second bust.
Okay.
He was with. This is what I've heard. A lot of this stuff I don't know for sure, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I've heard.
Uh-huh.
That the cops caught Roky and this kid up on the hills smoking some joints,
Uh-huh.
and they told the kid if he would say that the dope belonged to Roky, that they would let him go.
Yeah.
This was still 2 to life.
Uh-huh.
He had to go to court. They found him guilty on possession of marijuana, and he told the judge that he was seeing spots before his eyes and things, and they put him in the mental institution there in Austin instead of the joint, which
Well,
was
he-
better.
He pleaded guilty by reason of insanity, right? To
No,
that,
no,
was
they
that the one?
convict. No, they convict. No, this is different.
This is a different bus.
I think I wasn't there, but I heard that they convicted him on marijuana possession.
Uh-huh.
And then it was time for sentencing, and he told the judge, his lawyer told him to tell the judge he was seeing spots before his eyes and going crazy.
Uh-huh.
So they did put him in the Austin State Hospital.
Right.
Okay, I don't know how he broke out of there. Dana told me one time he just climbed over the fence to get to her while he was out there. And then I've heard that somebody unbolted the door to the cell that he was in and got him out that way. But anyway, he ended up at Rusk, which is the worst place in the world to be.
That's
He
not
did
so
3
good.
years out there.
3 years?
Roky did 3 years in Rusk.
I
mean,
thought it
that's
was just a
fact.
few months.
No, it was 3
Oh,
years.
that's horrible.
And then this attorney goes out there and meets Roky and has a sanity trial and gets him out of there. That's how he got out. This lawyer, I don't know if he was an orderly there or he just went out there to investigate the thing or somehow, anyway, he met Roky and he liked him and he did a sanity trial on him and got him out of Rusk. Out a free man.
Oh, great. Bless his heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we played some gigs with Donnie Erickson on guitar and can't think of the bass player's name.
Who, Erickson?
Donnie Erickson, his brother.
His brother plays guitar also?
Yes, very good guitar player.
Does he sing?
No, I don't think he's.
Roky has a golden voice, I thought.
Roky has the voice.
Maybe
of
his
the family.
brothers did too, you know.
No.
Just
I
Roky.
don't think, I've never heard Donnie sing.
Yeah.
But he's a pretty good jazz guitar player. Okay, then that was at Mother Earth, and 1,500 people showed up to our first gig, and they had to turn 500 of them away. We played there. Then we played that Sunday night, and a lot of people got in free. They were writing their names on the guest list and then telling them people what their name was. It was wild. A lot of people got, people feel like at an Elevator concert, anybody can get in towards the last. They just kind of say, "Oh, go on." 'Cause they don't. A lot of them, they try to negotiate the cover charge, and anyway, they
There's
just
only going to be 20 minutes left. Let me give you $3, or
yeah. Or
just say, "Get out of my face. Go on in there."
Well, they had the guest list right there, and then
Yeah.
people were taking the guest list and writing their names on the guest list and putting it back, and they said, "My name is on the guest list." Okay, so we played Mother Earth. Yeah, I like doing it this way.
Was this after the Roky got
It
out?
starts coming to me chronologically.
Okay, this is after Roky got out.
Rocky got out of Rusk.
From the
and we
lawyer, got him out.
Lawyer got him out of Rusk, and then we went to Mother Earth there
That was
in
your
Austin.
first gig after.
First gig.
Yeah,
And we made $1,300, I think, something like that.
1,300. All right, in Austin.
Yeah.
And what year was this? Do you know?
I don't know the year.
Uh-huh.
Couldn't even hit close on that.
Okay.
It was right after he got
But
out
after
of
he
Rusk.
got out, I can find out. Who was in the band at this point?
Well, we just threw a band together, Phil, and we played a couple of gigs, and then
This is after Stacy's death?
No.
No?
this is before Stacy's
Before
death.
Bull of the Woods?
Yes.
Okay.
No, wait a minute. I think it was after. It was after Bull of the Woods.
Is this
yeah.
pre-Easter
After.
everywhere?
No. The Mother Earth is after Bull of the Woods.
Okay. After Bull of the Woods.
I'm pretty sure on that.
Uh-huh. So Stacy had already been killed then?
No.
No,
Stacy
he was killed
alive.
much later then. Much later than those sessions, yeah.
Okay.
Who played guitar on that? Was Stacy on guitar?
Stacy did most of the singing on Bull of the Woods and the guitar playing, and Rocky did a little bit on Bull of the Woods,
Mm-hmm.
but
in the Mother Earth show, who was your guitar player?
Donnie Erickson, Rocky's brother, was the guitar
Oh,
player.
yeah, right, okay. And who was on bass?
I can't remember his name.
It wasn't Ronnie?
No, it wasn't Ronnie.
Uh-huh.
See, I called Ronnie and said, "Ronnie, Rocky's out. Let's put the band back together." He says, "I can't leave Kerrville." He was married, a couple of kids. He said, "I can't leave Kerrville."
Uh-huh.
I had nothing to offer him. I couldn't offer him any money.
Uh-huh.
So he didn't come. But then after we played the Mother Earth gig twice and made a bunch of money, both he and Stacy came to my door in Austin wanting to play in the band.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, Stacy was a heroin addict.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to be around any heroin addicts. I had been around Stacy and him stashing dope in my cars and doing stuff like that,
That's all you needed was...
And I was gun shy.
Yeah.
So I didn't get saved. But we didn't last long anyway because Dana got a hold of Rocky and started giving him mescaline and weed and all that stuff again. And he just got reclusive again.
Uh-huh.
And so that was the end of that. And then Tracy Cluck calls me up in 84 or 86, I'm not sure when it was, to do the reunion thing with Rocky. He was going to be Rocky's manager. He'd found Rocky somewhere, and he decided he was going to be Rocky's manager. So we played a reunion gig at Liberty Lunch in Austin.
Right.
And that's, some people taped that and videoed it. I've never seen the video or heard the tape, but I'm sure it wasn't very good because we just hadn't rehearsed but for about 4 or 5 days, and when he then got up there and did it,
Uh-huh.
Then we went to Houston. Greg Forrest was playing guitar at that 84 reunion at Liberty Lunch.
Uh-huh.
Ronnie was on bass. I was on drums, and we did it as 4 pieces. And then Ronnie bowed out because Tracy didn't pay him right on the spot. I trusted Tracy. We did end up getting $650 a piece
Is this a reunion?
for the reunion.
Uh-huh.
But that was too, Anyway, we got another bass player, Barrett Beach, and Stan Morris went with us to Houston, and we jammed down there.
Uh-huh.
And we never got paid for that. It was a rain out, torrential rains that night.
Mm-hmm.
Stopped a lot of people that were trying to get in because Tracy wouldn't let them in. They were standing out in the rain, and then the rain was just something else. So he was afraid to let them in, afraid he couldn't get their money, so he just said, "Okay, you can't come in." And that was a mistake. He should have just let them all come in, and then ask them all to file back outside and come back in again. You know. But there was no security. This was a warehouse. We were playing in a warehouse. It wasn't even a club. Nowhere near a club. We should have gone to Rockefeller's or someplace like that.
Yeah.
But Tracy didn't know. He was an electrician and decided he was going to manage a rock and roll band all of a sudden. And he got with Roky. And then he did the Ritz thing with Chris Hull's house. See,
Right.
that was a Tracy Cluck production.
I see.
Tracy Cluck production. Kind of like Dick Clark, you know, but on a lesser scale.
That's out on CD now. I have that. It sounds pretty good. It's not one of Rocky's stronger moments though. But
No. That Ritz performance is out on CD?
yeah,
Man, everybody's putting CDs out on us.
I know.
They're just all over the place. I wish they wouldn't put out that bad music. It really bums me out because we should say when something can be released and when it can't be released. Give us a chance to redo it. It should be up to the band instead of everybody just robbing us blind.
There's something off of that Psychedelic Microdots CD also. Called Psychedelic Microdots from the 60s. They've got 8 songs from someone, and then the rest of the CD is Elevators from the Something Else shows up and down. 65 to 66, I think.
At that point, this was after the Houston reunion. I hadn't seen Roky for a while, and then I went over to his house, and he had a bunch of television sets and radios going on. We couldn't hardly talk, and it was kind of hard to communicate there in the house. So, and Ronnie and I wanted to beat the 5:30 traffic out of Austin. We were on Ben White Boulevard. We didn't want to get tied up in that, so we took off early. They say Rocky's doing a lot better. He was in pretty bad shape when we were over there. He was well, I say bad shape. He didn't want to do any music. That's bad shape. And he was listening to all these TVs and radios, which were all tuned to different stations. It was maddening. I don't see how he could stand it in there. We had to cut out.
He seemed a little disturbed.
No,
Or
he really didn't, but it was disturbing to me to be there with all those TVs on different channels and radios blaring. And I mean, it was loud in there. It wasn't just, you know, a little bit.
it was coming at you then.
Really, it was coming at us.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Ronnie and I stayed there a little bit, and then we realized, you know, well, Roky probably won't be doing any more band stuff anyway, because he was pretty well spaced. Then they say he played it. Ronnie said he played at his benefit and did real well for a couple of songs.
At his birthday party.
Yeah, his birthday.
At Liberty Lunch.
Yeah, at Liberty Lunch.
Played 2 or 3 songs real well there.
So you went to that one, huh?
I heard. I wasn't there.
Ronnie said he did good.
Yeah.
You know, maybe somebody could take Roky and get him in the right situation. I'd sure like to see Roky do it again. I mean, when you go through as much stuff as we all went through, you have to be kind of like brothers, you know.
Of all that you went through, how much money did you make, John?
I played on 22 songs. Counted them up the other day. And I made $365 for the first album, royalties on the first album, and $108 for royalties on You're Gonna Miss Me as a hit.
The single.
The single.
Uh-huh.
But they, I don't know how they worked it, but that's how much money I made out of the whole deal.
That's not counting money made from live performances. You kept that.
Right.
You know, there was some.
Yeah.
So the majority.
As far as the money that I got from international artists,
Uh-huh.
it was $365 or $368, and then $108 for You're Gonna Miss Me.
So right before Easter Everywhere was the argument where you and Ronnie allegedly had enough. And there was an
We didn't
argument.
see much future in doing anything else for IA.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, $365 is not much incentive to go down and work for a month.
Yeah.
Or 2.
Uh-huh.
No incentive. We decided, well, you know, it's over. We're back to Texas now.
Did you propose going to another label or
No.
no?
There weren't any other labels in Texas.
That was it. Eh?
That was it. It was international artists or nobody.
Let's pause a moment.
Oh, I'm on pause. I missed all of that.
Oh, no. I was curious. Now, Tommy Hall would come up with the lyrics.
Right.
These
Poem. He write a poem.
He would write a poem to begin with, right?
Right.
Then Roky would work with it and turn it into a song.
That's right.
So Roky was actually the songwriter.
Right.
The music
Tommy was the
musician-
lyricist, and Roky was the songwriter.
He would actually phrase these lyrics into song structures and
chords.
the chord changes, and all of that was Roky.
That is correct.
And so, how long would it take Tommy to come up with a song? I mean, would he just like write stuff on a, or
Spur of the moment.
just like spur of the moment thing?
Took him just a few minutes once he got going to write a psychedelic poem.
Then how long
He
would
was good.
And then Roky, would it take him a night to get a song, or?
No, Roky would do it in about 3 takes. He'd just read the poem and start playing, and in about 3 takes he did it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just on the spot.
Both of them spur of the moment.
That's
They
fantastic.
could do it fast.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. But they just got into too much acid. Too much bad acid, I'm gonna have to say.
Yeah.
I don't really know much about acid. And a lot of people like it. And when I say, I don't do it, they think, there's something wrong with him. He's not into acid. He's tried acid and had a bad trip and not into it anymore. That's true. That's where I'm at.
Well, there's a lot of evidence that they used to put speed and strychnine in
Yeah.
some of that.
Yeah, I think it was stepped on.
So. Yeah, altered. John Ike, what about that Conquroo theater in the round?
Okay, that was in Houston in Sharpstown. It's called Theater in the Round. It had a revolving bandstand. The Conquroo, another Austin band of some heads, and us played there, and Stacy freaked out. It was probably the worst performance. I had a friend of mine say that it was just absolutely horrible. Because Roky and Stacy were playing 2 different songs at the same time. Stacy had freaked out on acid. He came to me backstage and said, "John Ike, I feel just like a child. I'm scared to death. I don't want to go down there and play for those people."
Uh-huh.
I thought,
Uh-oh.
isn't that wonderful? Here we are. We got a gig booked. We're going to make some money. And
Stacy's having
And Stacy dropped so much acid before the gig that he's freaking out.
Uh-huh.
And so Jack McClellan took him out and let him smoke about 6 joints and brought him back in there, but that didn't help either. He was still too high. I mean, Stacy just got too high to be there.
Uh-huh.
He kind of needed to be out in the woods, fishing or hunting or something, and he got too high for the city life.
He had to be by himself.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
needed to mellow out. And it was terrible. That's all I want to say about that performance. Man.
Did the show go on?
Yeah, they
He
played.
went out?
They played. He got out there and we played, but I tell you what, that was the worst we'd ever sounded. I mean, it was not music.
Okay. It was not music. I remember hearing, there's one of these songs where it seems like Stacy was playing She Lives, and then Roky was singing Levitation. Just never
That
met.
kind of stuff happened
Yeah.
at the theater in the round.
And that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, two
Every now and then.
songs.
Yeah, they kind of mix those up, and Roky would come in on the chorus for Levitation, and Stacy would still, he'd be off somewhere, But
Yeah, there is some stuff where they're not together.
but that was very, very
Rare.
rare.
It was rare.
Yeah. When
Nothing
they,
I'd like to do better than to get back and get to play it again, but Rocky's got to get real interested in getting back into music, and I don't know whether he'll ever do that again or not.
his voice is still there.
Yeah, he can still sing.
His voice is good.
Enough money that could be pulled off. I think we could get him on some. We'll get him away from all the TV sets and all that stuff. Get him out in the country. If he's hearing voices, hell, let him listen to the voices. He's not going to obey the voice. He doesn't have to obey the voices.
Right.
He can hear them and let them die out.
Learn how to deal with them.
Learn how to deal with them.
Yeah.
Let them vanish or whatever's going to happen to them. But let it
Let-
flow.
let
He's
it
not
play
letting
its
it.
course,
He's not letting his life flow. Of course, if if you saw where he lived, you'd understand why he is in a depression. Well, he's not really all that depressed, but he's just hearing these voices and trying to drown them out.
Now, describe your drum set. What did you play?
I bought the first year Rogers drums came out with the Swivel-matic hardware, and my mother bought me the most fabulous set of drums you'd ever seen. They were silver sparkle Rogers Swivel-matic double tom-tom set of drums. This was before double bass drums and any of that stuff. This, nobody played a double bass drum in the 60s.
No, not back then. No.
But
Not even Ringo.
Yeah, and Bobby still got the original cymbals.
Yeah.
He's
So
got
the
the
original,
set.
that set's still intact.
That set is still intact,
Mhm.
and I'm going to try to sell it. But I'm not going to sell it cheap unless I have to. Now, first of all, I'm going to try to hook somebody like the drummer for REM or somebody like that really was a fan of the band
Mhm.
that makes $50,000 in an hour, Somebody like that, the hell, they'd give me $50,000 for them.
Yep.
If they wanted them. They could easily afford them. He'd have to pay it in taxes. Why shouldn't he buy a drum set and write it off as a business expense?
Really?
Sure. Anyway, that's what my wife has, urged me to try to get a good chunk of money for him. So that's what
What
I'm
was the
gonna do.
strangest thing you ever saw Rocky do?
Rocky was, just a pretty meek, well-mannered guy. Rocky was not a wild man. A lot of people kind of go wild, but Rocky would just get withdrawn.
He would
He
withdraw.
would withdraw
Uh-huh.
and just,
Who was the wild man of the band?
we were pretty,
Y'all were pretty well behaved, actually.
yeah, we really were.
Yeah.
We weren't like bands, like Guns N' Roses and all that
These-
kind of
these-
crazy
yeah.
stuff that those guys do. I say
Uh-huh.
Guns N' Roses, that's just one that I can think of. But
Led Zeppelin was a big party band. They had
Yeah.
a lot of wild parties and stuff.
uh-huh.
But y'all never had, wild groovy parties and
No, that didn't go down.
bathtubs full of whipping cream and stuff like
That
that.
didn't go down
Yeah,
while we were
right,
around.
right.
No, I'm sorry we missed that.
It would have been nice, now that you think about it. So you recorded, what kind of guitar did Rocky play during all of this?
I could play the red Gibson ES335 stereo, like Chuck Berry plays.
Mm-hmm. That was his favorite guitar?
That was his favorite guitar. And it got stolen.
It was stolen out in California?
You ought to try to buy one of those today.
Oh, man.
$2,000, $3,000 at least. I'm not sure what they are, but
Yeah.
it's a very sought after guitar.
I imagine it would be high dollar.
Because you can put one amp on one side of the stage, another amp on the other side of the stage, and you'd have a stereo switch
Uh-huh.
on your guitar, and you could switch the amps by your position setting on the guitar.
Uh-huh.
The main downfall of the group was just too much drugs. It was overdone. Rocky and Stacy and Tommy were doing acid a couple of times a day, every day. I guess that's how much they were doing it. That's what I gathered about what they were in, what kind of condition they were in when I got there to get them for a gig. I had the only car. We all had to pile in the car. I'd go there to get them for a gig, and they would be on the sofa just knocked completely out, like, and in the middle of the day.
In no shape for a gig.
No shape for a gig.
Yeah.
And Stacy would get real hateful because I'd have to get him up, Come on, Stacy. Oh, man. Leave me alone. Oh.
He'd get grouchy.
Yeah, he'd get grouchy.
Oh, mercy.
Tommy was always ready to go. Tommy loved gigs. 'Cause he didn't have much to do. That's about it, He didn't have to remember chord changes
Uh-huh.
or anything, He just took it into the microphone.
He always took it in key, though.
Yeah.
He was always right along with Stacy.
It was more of a percussive sound that has its own. It can be doesn't have to be right to pitch, It's kind of it's fast fast decay. That's what
Yeah.
Here's what he would do.
Well,
It would decay off real quick, so you couldn't really tell.
did he have his amp on reverb or something? For a
No.
special sound?
He went through the PA.
Oh, he went through the PA.
Yeah.
Okay.
He didn't have an amp.
You didn't use an amp.
Because see, when you take an amplifier and you put it right behind you and you have a mic, an open mic right there, you get feedback.
Ah, yeah.
So we just
You
plugged
have
it
to
in.
have a PA.
We just plugged it in the
Right.
PA.
Okay.
This was before monitors. There was no such thing as a monitor when we were playing. We had 2 columns, 4 tens, and a Cobra Flex horn in each column.
Well, where did y'all meet Tommy Hall?
On the beach in Port Aransas, that's a good little story. We drank a bottle of Romalar, and the cops came up. We were smoking some Acapulco Gold, and the cops came up, and luckily, Clementine's wife jumped out of the car and said, "What's wrong, officers? What's wrong here? We're a family, and we're camped here." And then they let us alone. We'd
Played
still be
the-
in prison if she hadn't have done that.
Played the little housewife part?
Yeah, freaking out. "What's wrong here, officers?"
Yeah.
And put them on the defensive. She just jumped out there and put them on the, because
Uh-huh.
if they'd have rolled down the window
And smelled.
and smelled that Acapulco Gold we'd
Yeah.
been smoking, we'd still be in prison. Corpus Christi, 1964, possession to the life.
So you just met him on the beach and you were in the car huffing.
We met him at a filling station,
Yeah.
and then he had kind of long hair. We
In a
had
filling
long-
station.
in
Just
Port-
getting gas?
Yeah, he
Just
had
ran
these,
into
he
it.
had these beetle boots and long hair.
All right. All right.
So we knocked each other off his heads. So
Uh-huh.
we all went, I wasn't even a head then. That was the first time I'd ever smoked with him. I
Uh-huh.
was in Port Aransas with Tommy Hall. First we drank a bottle of Romalar, and then we started smoking some Acapulco Gold, and I was ripped beyond belief, man. I was hallucinating. Houses were turning into monsters and walking across the land. And then we went to this hot dog stand, Custard's Last Dance, what they call it. And I don't even remember being able to talk, and they asked us if we were from Russia, because we were talking
Real slow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were talking, and they couldn't understand us. And we couldn't understand each other either when we were talking. Because that's what we felt like we should be doing.
So you thought you were Ruskies, huh?
Yeah, they thought we were Russians.
Uh-huh.
Boy, that chance we had of picking those girls up.
Who are these guys from Czechoslovakia?
Yeah. From Russia. They said, "Are you from Russia?" Oh, God.
And so you were buddies ever since. So from then on, Tommy, more or less, y'all just hung out, right?
No, he went back to Austin.
Okay.
And we were playing at the Dunes at the time, I believe. I can't really piece all that together just exactly right.
You're playing with Roky before you were known as the Elevators? Is that?
No, Roky, the night that we got Roky in our band, we thought of the name, Clementine and I thought of the name 13th Floor Elevators.
That's right. Okay.
See, I was leading up to something. Oh, the reason we left Port Aransas in a hurry was that one of the policemen there at the place where we played said, "Do you know who you were talking to there, John?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, that was the head of the State Narcotics Commission that you were talking to. You boys better get out of town, quick."
Where was this?
At the Dunes in Port Aransas. He
Playing
said,
one night?
playing one night.
The
and
guy just came up to you?
the security guy, security guard, see,
Uh-huh.
was a policeman off duty.
Yeah.
He knew this guy, the Texas narc.
Oh.
He tipped us off.
Oh.
Said, "You better get out of here."
Those guys are on your trail.
That's right. We left that night. Right after we finished our gig,
Uh-huh.
we went home. We threw together our instruments. We threw them in the car, and we were
Just-
out of there.
You were out, man. Yeah.
And they busted our house. And they found some seeds and
They came in?
stems the next day.
Uh-huh.
They busted us the next day. See. And then we went to Stacy went to a motel room and left a bag of weed in his coat pocket. We went to Kerrville. And when we got back, the weed was gone, and his clothes were in the office of this motel, and the cops were on our trail. They just followed us around and they busted us.
Uh-huh.
Busted Tommy with 2 pounds. That was a lot of weed back then.
Yeah.
And the grand jury that indicted us, they had already made up their mind to indict us, but they kept asking me what it was like to get high. They wanted to know what it was like to get high. They weren't, trying to determine whether I'd committed a crime and should go to prison.
Uh-huh.
They'd already assumed that, just from the fact that we were charged with possession of marijuana. But they wanted to know why anybody would possess marijuana.
Yeah. They were curious to what?
Curious.
They wanted to know what.
They were young people.
Yeah.
The grand jury was young people. They might have been 10 years older than we were.
Yeah.
But still, they were 35 years old, and so they wanted to know what it was like to get stoned
This was in Austin?
in Austin.
What did you say?
What did I say? How do you describe it? That's something you can't really very well describe. You know what I mean? I mean, you try it and you get stoned, and it's a feeling. You know, everything. You feel like everything's going your way, or everything's not going your way. It's an extreme. You know, it puts you to an extreme of one thing or another. There's no middle of the road when you're really goofy.
That's good philosophy. I like that. Okay, what happened as a result of that trial?
I got off. They traded out my van for me. They dropped charges on me.
Uh-huh.
Tommy got 2 years probation. Stacy got 2 years probation. Roky got off on a misprint of his address on the search warrant.
Okay. What's the story about Roky driving 0 miles an hour in Austin? Have you heard that?
No.
I saw a copy of the ticket.
Uh-huh.
It's Roky Kennard Erickson,
Yeah.
and it goes 45 mile an hour zone.
Uh-huh.
It goes speed traveling 0. He was
stopped
He
grooving.
was stopped, you know, right?
Stopped and grooving.
Grooving, man.
Oh, boy.
That was in 84, I think. Does Roky drive? Does he have a license?
No,
Not now.
I don't think he could get a license.
It would be probably a hassle. Well, how do you feel about the elevators now, John Ike?
I'd like to do it again. I really would. I like playing rock and roll, and that was the best rock and roll band I've ever played with. I'd always like to go back and be able to do it again. I came through it all right, you know. I didn't do a bunch of... I'm not in as bad a shape as Roky is. Roky can pull out of it, I think, in time. I believe if he had strong will. He's extremely strong.
Yeah.
To have gone through Rusk for 3 years and come out with his sanity.
Right.
Strong.
Right.
God, man.
Yeah.
That's hell. That's hell.
Yeah.
Rusk is hell.
Yeah.
I'd love to do it again. Ronnie would too.
I could tell
would do it
Ronnie-
in a minute.
Ronnie's just ready to go.
He doesn't like to play country music.
He can. He plays it real well.
He'd
But-
rather rock and roll.
I could tell when I saw him in Comfort
Yeah.
playing blues and rock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's more of his, what he likes.
Mm-hmm. He just keeps the bottom full, boy. He just keeps it rolling.
I tell you, silky smooth Ronnie. Well, I don't want to dwell too much on the busts, but that's something that we can definitely state in the book without somebody getting worried about it.
Yeah.
That's nice you all were tipped off like that. And then they came in the house where? The next day?
Yeah, they went to our
The same
cabin
house
in
you were
Colorado.
staying at?
Yeah, the motel that we were staying at in Port Aransas where we lived.
Right.
Yeah, they busted it the next day.
You lost your wagon, your van.
Yeah.
But your mother was a little upset about that.
Yeah, that happened in Austin.
Now, would you tell me a little bit about St. Powell?
Powell St. John.
Powell St. John, excuse me. Now, how did he fit in with the band?
Okay, Powell St. John wrote some songs, and he showed them to Roky and taught them to Roky, and Roky and us, we worked him up, and he wrote that song, Take That Girl, which was about, he saw Stacy's girlfriend from Port Aransas, who was a dish. She was Miss Rockport, just a gorgeous girl. And he wrote that song, Take That Girl, and you have to listen to the song, Take That Girl, to understand, but he says, listen, boy, I just don't get it. I met her once and I can't forget it. Let her down and you'll regret it too. Don't you be a fool like me. Don't pretend you just can't see. You got to take that girl and make that girl your own. Beautiful song. It's on the non-live album.
Mm-hmm. And the kingdom of heaven is within you?
That is on our first album. That's one of Powell St. John's songs. Now, Tommy said there was a couple of his songs that he didn't like the way we did them, but we did them that way, and it, that's just the way we would have done
That's
it.
just the way you did it.
It's the way we do them.
That's right.
It's elevator style.
Now, where did you meet him?
He was in Austin with Tommy. Powell St. John was.
One of Tommy's friends.
Yeah, he was one of Tommy's friends, and he was a songwriter and a great harmonica player.
Oh.
He was in on the folk stuff. He was playing
Birds and
No, pre-Birds. This was
Pre-Birds.
Bob Dylan, early Bob Dylan stuff.
Right.
The very beginning of the folk movement, he was right there with it.
Well, he did write some songs, and
He wrote some neat
I
songs.
wanted to find out what you had to say about him.
I talked to him the other day.
You did?
Yeah, in California.
Huh.
Yeah.
How's he doing?
See, I was band boy for Mother Earth, and he was playing in a band called Mother Earth, and I had a van, and I hauled their equipment around for him.
Uh-huh.
And anyway.
This recording is not for sale. It's free to trade amongst the fans. All that is asked is that a $3 gift for each disc copied be donated to John Ike. Please mail your donations to John Ike Walton, P.O. Box 452, Ingram, Ingram, Texas 78025. Thank you.